Antifa. For some, it's a shadowy movement of masked agitators. For others, it's a symbol of resistance against rising extremism. But what is Antifa, really? Where did it come from? And why does it stir up so much division in modern politics? In this video, we'll cut through the noise, exploring the history, beliefs, controversies, and legacy of Antifa. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of what Antifa is and what it isn't.
The Führer's final speech, and the high spot comes.
Antifa isn't new. Its roots stretch back nearly a century. The word Antifa comes from the German anti-fascistische Action, or anti-fascist action, a militant group formed in 1932 to oppose the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. These were not pacifists. Antifa's early activists believed that fascism could not be reasoned with, only resisted directly and often forcefully. Their tactics spread across Europe, especially after World War II, where anti-fascist groups organized to keep authoritarian ideologies at bay.
No fascists! No KKK! No racists!
They're being joined by someone.
When Antifa re-emerged in the United States, it wasn't as a centralized organization, but rather a loose network inspired by that same European tradition. It resurfaced in the late 20th century, particularly in punk rock and anarchist subcultures, opposing neo-Nazi groups and white supremacist rallies. But here's the key point. Antifa was never a formal organization. It has no membership cards, no leaders, no headquarters. Instead, it's a loose network of like-minded activists who justify direct action, including confrontation, in the name of fighting fascism.
Me and my friends are just trying to eat at a restaurant, and we have all these Antifa people coming and harassing us.
Antifa's ideology centers on opposing what they see as far-right or fascist threats. But their definition of fascism is broad, sometimes stretching far beyond literal neo-Nazis.
They call everybody they disagree with Nazis.
Their methods include counter-protests to shut down rallies or speakers they view as dangerous. Black bloc tactics, dressing in black, covering faces, and moving as a unit. Property destruction as a form of political expression. Doxing and online exposure of individuals labeled extremists. For supporters, this is a bold stand against hate. For critics, it crosses into vigilantism, where self-appointed activists decide who is a fascist and act as judge, jury, and sometimes executioner. Critics, however, focus on their willingness to use confrontation, sometimes violent, as part of their strategy. And this is where the controversy begins. Antifa burst into mainstream American conversation after 2017, when violent clashes in places like Berkeley and most notably Charlottesville made headlines. Images of black-clad counter-protesters facing off against supposedly white supremacists went viral. Since then, Antifa has become a political talking point. Critics on the right, including President Trump, accuse them of fueling riots and undermining law and order. Federal officials stopped short of labeling them a formal terrorist organization, but acknowledged Antifa as a significant factor in political unrest. Meanwhile, many on the left dismissed concerns as exaggerated, portraying Antifa as a scapegoat used to distract from real extremist threats. For their supporters, Antifa was a frontline defense against emboldened far-right extremism. For their critics, Antifa represented lawlessness, chaos, and mob violence. The truth, as always, is far more complex. Let's break it down. Critics argue Antifa's confrontational tactics often escalate violence instead of preventing it. Their lack of central leadership makes accountability nearly impossible. By embracing destruction of property or direct clashes, they undermine democratic norms. Supporters counter, fascism is inherently violent. Waiting for it to grow before acting is dangerous. Direct confrontation has historically been necessary to stop authoritarian movements. Their decentralized structure makes them harder to infiltrate or silence. This tension, right, between resisting extremism and respecting law and order is at the heart of the Antifa debate. So, what's Antifa's impact today? Antifa is not a mass movement. Surveys show only a small fraction of Americans identify with it. Yet its presence is outsized in media and politics. Why? Because it represents something larger, the clash between two visions of America's future. In one vision, Antifa is a necessary shield against growing authoritarianism and racism. In the other, it's proof of dangerous radicalism threatening social stability. So, who is Antifa? They're not one group, not one leader, not one face. They're a network, an idea, a tradition of resistance, messy, controversial, but undeniably influential. You don't have to agree with their methods to understand their message, and whether you see them as defenders of justice or agitators of chaos. Antifa is a reflection of our fractured times. Antifa has been called both a shield against fascism and a threat to free speech.
Like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. We break down complex issues to give you clear, unbiased perspectives, cutting through the noise of mainstream narratives. If you want to stay informed and support this growth of the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.